opinion, right? Next we'll have greetings and remarks from none other than the elected and the appointed officials and from members of our community. We are very pleased today to be joined by the Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, the Honorable Robert F. McDonnell. Governor McDonnell is the 71st governor of our state, elected in January 2010. And prior to his election as governor, he served for 14 years in the Virginia House of Delegates, where he was chairman of the powerful Courts of Justice Committee and assistant majority leader. He has also served as Attorney General and worked in the private sector for a Fortune 500 corporation. Most recently, he was instrumental in putting in a $3.3 million amendment in his budget for the purchase of the burial ground from VCU. This is worthy of an applause before I go on. Which will be transferred to the property to the City of Richmond and the Richmond Slave Trail Commission. This was a major accomplishment, and I applaud the governor for helping to make this historic property part of our vision for our heritage district. I present to you at this time, with no further ado, the Honorable Robert F. McDonnell, the 71st Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Stand as we give him an applause. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you and good afternoon. Glad to see the 70-degree temperatures back in the great city of Richmond. God bless you. The sun is shining on us today, but it has not always done so on this spot. Delegate McQuinn, thank you for that nice introduction. Very gracious. And for your leadership on the Slave Trail Commission, along with Janine Bell and all the commissioners that are behind us today, many of them have worked on this project for so many years, Pastor and others, to see it to fruition. Though the vision tarry, it will surely come to pass if people work hard. I am delighted to be here for this important day, not just in the city of Richmond, but for the Commonwealth of Virginia. There's an old saying about history: if you forget where you've been, then you don't know where you're going, and you're consigned to repeat the same mistakes that history has made before. And the abomination of slavery and the evil stain that it has on the democracy of America is a mistake that can never be repeated. And thank God that the Armistice at Appomattox and the Emancipation Proclamation stamped that ugly institution from the soil of America. In the 1860s, the number of families that were torn asunder between Africa and the Manchester docks was heartbreaking. The evil that took place in and around this spot as the slaves got off the ships at Manchester and walked those miles to this spot. Many of them held at Lumsden's jail, several buried at the slave cemetery that's just underneath that bridge and perhaps around this area, was a horror that was unspeakable, that we cannot fully contemplate and fathom today in this free America in which we live. The book of Genesis says that all of us were created in the image and likeness of God, that we have this replica of God Himself in our soul. Jefferson and our founders understood that as they wrote in the Virginia Statute for Religious Liberty that's just enshrined on a wall just a few blocks from here, that Almighty God has created the mind free. And in fact, 235 years ago, Jefferson penned the words we're all familiar with, that we are endowed not by government, but in fact the Creator Himself, that created us in our image and likeness, that we're endowed by Him with inalienable rights, one of which is liberty. But for so long, African Americans had neither liberty of mind or conscience, nor liberty of body or spirit, because of the oppressive institution of slavery. So this is an important day as we commemorate the 150th anniversary of the beginning of the Civil War. 75% or so of those battles that took place on the grounds here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. That we mark this trail, that we remember the reason that the war was fought, and that we celebrate the end of that war and the end of slavery. It's important that we mark the spots from Manchester Docks to this site here at Lumpkins Jail, so that future generations of Richmonders and Virginians, and in fact Americans, and in fact those from around the world that will travel to Virginia this year to be able to see these sites, will always remember, will never forget, so that this incredible story of human bondage will never be repeated on the soil of America. I'm delighted to tell you that this week I'm going to sign a bill that I asked to be introduced by Senator Marsh and Delegate McQuinn that will transfer this property from VCU to the city of Richmond. I want to thank those two legislators for their leadership, and all the legislators on the front row that supported that legislation unanimously, that along with that $3.3 million in the budget that I'll also sign within the next couple of weeks, will fully convey that property. And working together with the mayor, as I have over these last months and years, and the leadership at VCU, that we will do everything possible to tear up this asphalt as soon as possible and properly restore this site. So let us all learn from those lessons of history. Let us all join together, black, white, brown, in making sure that this promise of the Declaration, the promise of America, the opportunity to use your God-given talents to pursue the great American dream, will become more alive for all of our citizens, and that these markers that we enshrine here today will teach us those lessons of liberty so that future generations will live free. Thank you.